That's right. You look at the starting lineups here and keep an eye on Matilda Eck in the middle. She is a great three-point shooter, third in the Big Ten in made threes. As for Indiana, it is pick your poison. So much talent across the board.
5 different starters all average at least 9 or more points in scoring. It literally is pick your poison. You've got to make sure you shut down not just one player, but it's defense by committee.
Buckle up, folks. 2 very high-scoring teams. In fact, 2 teams in the top 20 in the country with points per game. Grace Berger, the leader of this team with the ball. She has been a 4-time first-team All-Big Ten player. And Mackenzie Holmes, her first shot, it goes in. No surprise, she shoots 69% from the floor.
Michigan State switched everything on that possession in their man-to-man defense. Nice job by Berger finding Holmes.
Mari McDaniel for the Spartans offline, but Maura Joyner, who was so big in their game yesterday, keeps it alive. McDaniel will fire from deep. Last time Indiana played in a Big Ten tournament was last year's championship game, which they lost to Iowa. Holmes again inside, this time no good, and McDaniel's running. Celine Alexander trying to shake Holmes, and that's a tough task to do it, but she finds a way.
That was a nice job by Alexander, staying composed, avoiding any sort of press.
Berger in the paint, 5-footer, offline, and it's Michigan State ball. You know the story with the Spartans this year. Susie Merchant was involved in a minor car accident in late January. She was hospitalized. She's out of the hospital now, but that means Dean Lockwood, the associate head coach, is the acting head coach. It's his 9th straight game he's been in that position.
It's been a tough month for the Spartans, but they've prevailed, through all they've had to deal with regarding the tragedy on campus as well. It's been a lot to take in, but this is a Michigan State team that's playing really good basketball right now.
Chloe Moore-McNeil underneath, steps on the line. It's important to limit turnovers early on. She's your Big Ten Coach of the Year this year. She knows what she's talking about. But she knows that yesterday Michigan State forced 4 turnovers on the first 4 possessions for their opponent. Shot clock down to 6 for Grace Berger. Great defense by Joyner. Holmes has the rebound. Spotted by Alexander and a whistle.
Alexander's on the bench with 2 fouls, and she's been really effective guarding Holmes early on and making her not as efficient in the paint.
Their game yesterday, they had some foul issues as well. Tyra Parks was playing great for them, but she had to take a bunch of time on the bench. Mackenzie Holmes, your Big Ten Defensive Player of the Year. It's both free throws. She's been so good this year. I mean, she could have absolutely, if it weren't for the wonder that is Caitlin Clark. Lily Meister checks in and is on defense there as Holmes is on the sideline.
And as you know, as we get through the month of March, the best ability is availability in teams that have the depth and they can stay healthy, or the teams that have a tendency to make really deep runs in March.
You mentioned the 8 games she missed last year, returned in February. The team had to learn to play without her. In a similar way, they had to do that with Grace Berger this year, who was injured early on. In fact, should point out, Grace Berger did not play when they played against Michigan State, and the Spartans beat the Hoosiers.
And the Spartans were able to generate 21 turnovers.
They're keeping Lily Meister in, number 52. She's got 2 fouls already. Bounce pass to Eck. Beautiful execution by the green and white. Sara Scalia has checked in the game, someone who knows the state of Minnesota quite well. She shoots the 3 right here. It's offline, but Scalia is a transfer from the Gophers. Joyner. The 3 goes for MSU, and what a start for the 9th seed. It's working. They're up 11-4. Spartans short. Ball is saved, but Hageman has it. This is the 6-0 run. Joyner again. Far too strong.
And to your point, when you have to press for 40 minutes, it's exhausting. Michigan State did that yesterday, so perhaps picking and choosing when they're going to use that press to be effective and slow down Indiana.
This is a cold Indiana team, 1 of 8 from the floor to open things up. McDaniel with a long 2. An 8-0 run for Michigan State.
The Spartans have been able to score early and often in the possession.
Mackenzie Holmes is checked back in. She has the ball with Tyre Parks on her. She's missed back-to-back bunnies, and she misses that shot because she's fouled by Kamari McDaniel.
Trying to keep some legs fresh. We might see this press break out more so in the second quarter. And right now, Michigan State's doing a nice job helping over on Holmes and trying to make things really difficult and clogged.
Parks trying to get room inside on Holmes. McDaniel's going to have to shoot. Little pump fake in the air. Gets her own board again. Offensive rebounds helping Michigan State.
Indiana hasn't been disciplined at all boxing out.
Indiana averages 81 points a game. That is second best in the Big Ten. Finally, they get some points. And it's a three from Sara Scalia. Daniel out to an open Joyner. Book it for Joyner. Maura Joyner had 16 points, 4 steals, and 5 rebounds yesterday. When we asked her coach about it, he just said guts. She's the guts of the team, which could easily be said about Chloe Moore-McNeil.
Great decision by Chloe Moore. Moore-McNeil also needs to start spurring a run for Indiana on the defensive side of the ball walking in.
Parks passes it off wonderfully, and that's Stephanie Fisher, the grad senior who head to the line.
A lot of space because she drives in. 2 Indiana defenders collapse, and that leads to an open passing lane for Moira Joyner.
Looks like the press is on again for MSU.
I like how Michigan State's been mixing up when they're pressing and when they're not, because it's not allowing Indiana to establish a flow.
Yarden Garzon to Mackenzie Holmes, and that's the easy bucket they've been looking for. What a great start to this game for the Spartans. McDaniel again. McDaniel's got double digits already. And Hageman steals it. Joyner offline to Berger. She's got 6 seconds left in the quarter. Garzon, a good three-point shooter. What an amazing start for the 9th-seeded Spartans.
About as good as it gets from a defensive perspective for the Spartans, and they were scrapping. Michigan State's done a great job defensively, not allowing Indiana to establish a flow. Not to mention the Hoosiers haven't had great spacing offensively. It's been really clogged in the middle, and as a result, Indiana just hasn't been very efficient.
Oh, Joyner. Ball's batted around. It'll stay here.
Indiana's got to find a way to generate a run, but it starts on the defensive side of the ball.
It's traveling on Vischer.
You can anticipate it because you know it's coming. When Michigan State mixes up when it's going to press, it makes it tough for Indiana to always constantly have to be thinking, are we going to have our press break now, or can we just all get back and run our offense?
Press is going to be a story in these first 2 games today, because up next we got Michigan and Ohio State, and the Buckeyes are as good as anybody at putting on that press. Moore-McNeil in the corner. There's some offense for IU. Indiana forcing a turnover. Here comes Parrish in a 1-on-3. Holmes in the lane for 2. And here comes Indiana. They've scored all 5 points of this second quarter. Moore-McNeil commits a foul.
Well, running as fast as she can to beat her Michigan State defender down the floor.
McDaniel is having a...
Not only her third three-pointer, that was a contested three-pointer. You gotta have a little ice water in your veins if you're gonna knock down contested shots.
You know, they said when it comes to her, they keep it simple. Shoot when you're open. That's what they keep telling her. It's working today.
It's not rocket science. Shoot the ball.
It's a simple game. Sean Morris once told me, or 1,000 times told me. Mackenzie Holmes in the final week of the regular season for men's basketball.
See, like another day, Michigan's the 2 seed right now. I mean, it just depends on the day, the hour.
A-roll from deep. Off the glass and good.
Offensive side, the way that they were shooting it from 3. A-roll had her feet and shoulders spared to the basket.
It's the 6th three-pointer for Michigan State. Moore will be shooting 2.
pointed in, so she couldn't go full Jordan shrug. A-Rod has that awareness. We're the only people that point that out.
McNeil misses the free throw.
She's letting that right shoulder push forward a little too much on the shot.
A-Rod, another three. Give me 7 for the Spartans.
That time she didn't bank it. She made sure that one went straight through the rim. Nice follow through by A-Rod.
That's a great answer by the freshman Yarden Garzon. Unfortunately, that hot hand has to take a break. Team fouls on each side this quarter. Joyner again.
She had just enough room to get that shot off cleanly.
What an amazing performance. They're shooting 62% from deep. You know, a lot of times a team that plays in a tournament the day before has an advantage early because they're used to the court, they're used to the rims, but sometimes that fades after 5, 6, 8 minutes. It hasn't been fading here, and that's an offensive foul.
I am surprised by how much energy Michigan State has in this game after playing a tough one that went down to the wire 24 hours ago. The Spartans look like they are well rested and ready to rock and roll.
The last 6 3-pointers Michigan State has shot have all gone in. The layup misses. That's great. Go do the threes. Those are working, right? They're shooting.
Not many times you're going to say that.
62% from deep. Garzon, a tough shot as she was falling in the lane. Let's listen into what the IU huddle was like that last time out.
So you guys, again, you're in for the fight of your life right now. You're in for the fight of your life. All right, we'll see what we're made of. Yep. All right, going down the stretch here. Okay, going down the stretch. Because you've given them life. But again, the only way we get back into it is get stops. All right, we got to get stops one at a time.
Her program's built on defense. That makes sense.
Well, you got to get stops, and that's how you generate runs. When you can slow down your opponent, get the ball, and get some quick, easy buckets, that's going to be what spurs a run, as you see. Another injury on the ground.
That's Keandra Brown, the junior, who's grabbing what looks like her right thigh. How does this impact the game, these final 3:58 minutes of the second quarter for both teams?
Well, it's scary to see your teammate go down in an injury that looks to be pretty bad. So as a team, you just really have to try to shift your focus back to the game and trying to come together and fight for that teammate that just went down. And on the flip side, for Michigan State, you know, a stoppage and play that long does take away some momentum. It's going to be go time for Indiana. You see they score on the first play off of that brief pause.
Holmes gets the 2, but that was my second thought. We all know how it affects when it's your teammate. You feel a certain heaviness, and it's got to be in the back of your mind. But when it's not your teammate and you're out of a rhythm when you've been playing great ball, it has an effect on you too. Joyner. That's the first 3 they've missed in the last 6 attempts. Holmes, the left elbow. Back-to-back buckets for IU.
Indiana coming out with a sense of purpose and energy ever since that stoppage and play.
This is the number 2 team in the country, Indiana. Already set a program record with 26 wins in the regular season. A block by Holmes. Scalia left alone. It's a 7-0 run. Timeout, Michigan State.
Indiana comes alive because they get defensive stops and let it lead to better offense. As a result, they've gotten higher percentage shots because Michigan State hasn't been able to match up quickly.
McDaniel having a great offensive day, but creates an offensive foul 2 on Parks.
Well, Parks has to be careful because right now Alexander's on the bench with 2 fouls. Now Parks has 2, and they cannot. Michigan State cannot have 2 post players in foul trouble against a player as dynamic and effective as Mackenzie Holmes.
A-Rod has 2 fouls as well. Scalia driving, gets her own board, and gets a whistle. All right, the story of the day has unfortunately been the injury that happened a moment ago to Keandra Brown. Christy Winters-Scott, have you learned anything new?
Yes, Keandra Brown will not return to the contest. She has had 2 surgeries on her right labrum, her right hip, one after a freshman year and one last year. And they fear that that could be the issue today, but she will not return to the game this afternoon.
And that's a really tough surgery to recover from. I had that in college, and it's a 9-month recovery. At least it was for me. So it's so aggravating when you're in that impinged position in your hip to be able to move laterally, especially.
McDaniel, desperate to stop a 9-0 run. She's up to 15. About a half, we'll send it across the court. Justine Ward and Autumn Johnson have our State Farm halftime report. Rebound, that's going to be a foul on Indiana as Alyssa Geary checked into the game and went over the back. Alyssa Geary, we mentioned, just committed that foul. She's played in 19 games this year, but averages only 6 minutes, so the Hoosiers are using their bench. This is when you need to have a good bench.
Well, part of the reason why Indiana's been successful is because they have depth and 6 different players that average 9 or more points a game.
I would have told you that Hageman and Eck would have combined for 4 points, and Michigan State would be leading with a minute left in the half. What would you have said? I
would have said, no way, Jose. So conserving that energy perhaps has allowed them to get their legs underneath them to have more lift on shots.
You know what's interesting for Indiana, though they had such a cold start, their free throws have been effective. I know Holmes just missed that one, but they've got 10 points at the free throw line in this first half. McDaniel will fire. And this is stuck on 8 threes. 10 seconds in the half. Geary sets a screen for Berger. 1 second. They don't get off a shot. That Michigan State defense was one of the big stories yesterday. They've been a great story today. If you can hold Indiana to 34 points, what do you think they have to do differently in this second half? Maybe get open looks like that.
Well, knock down shots always helps, right? When you can get some open looks and knock them down with confidence. Indiana has to start on the defensive side of the ball. Nice
great
cut.
give and go. Joyner can't finish. That's 2 straight misses for MSU. Holmes draws the whistle.
The last time these two teams met, Michigan State was 4 of 9 for the entire game from 3. And then those 8 threes in the first half, she said that was just not good enough. They're going to be running Michigan State off that 3-point line in the second half.
They average just about 8 a game. They have 8 in the first half.
They don't just get straight line drives to the basket.
You know, Michigan State's a great team at getting to the free throw line, but they haven't in this game. They're winning despite only 5 free throw attempts thus far. Joyner, no. Parks, yes.
And Parks is so physical. She's not afraid to battle down low in the post.
Arizona's 3rd 3-point attempt of the second half, and Holmes gets a foul on Parks. That's her 3rd.
Mackenzie Holmes didn't run in with the team after the halftime break. Everyone else came out, and then she walked in, and she had a heat pack on that left knee. She did take it off and got into the layup line, but you're right, Megan, she is laboring a bit, but sticking with it.
She's already got 19 points, thanks to 9 coming from the free throw line in this game. She scored 20 points in 5 consecutive contests.
Right now you see the mismatch of Holmes going against Didi Hageman.
Hageman misses the 3, but it's a foul on Garzon.
And Indiana just hasn't been able to establish any sort of flow.
What we heard from Jean Lockwood is that when it comes to their press, it doesn't have to lead to turnovers. They just like speeding up their opponent and not getting them in a comfortable position. Berger. Cannot get it. There's a lid on the rim for her.
Oh, she's still having to spin and shoot really quickly. Fast move being paced by Michigan State offensively.
0 for 6 from the floor for Berger. Finally, her first basket of the day.
Berger's like, I'm going to score if it's the last thing I do in this quarter. That's what seniors do. Someone as strong-willed and smart as Berger, and I like that shot for her, shoulder squared in the paint.
In. Draws a whistle. She'll head to the line.
Indiana's length defensively is so disruptive.
She hit a 3. Their zone did early on in this third quarter. They're on the bench with 3 fouls. Hageman's been great from the free throw line. She has 7 points on all 7 free throw attempts after going 0 for 6 shooting.
Hageman's been really smart letting the game come to her and creating off a ball screen offense.
Michigan Michigan State has a lot of free throw attempts on a normal day. Holmes with a block on McDaniel. It's a 5-on-4 break for the Hoosiers. Parrish all alone. Scalia keeps it alive. Holmes has 23.
Unselfish play by the Hoosiers. Sydney Parrish could have shot that ball again. She has the green light to do so. Ooh.
Hageman loses Holmes. And here's Berger. Another missed pass by Grace Berger. That is twice she's tried to outlet to someone and has missed her person by a couple feet.
Makes her move so quickly that the defense doesn't have enough time to react to contest.
Holmes is on the bench. Indiana now only down by 1. And the Spartans in a bit of a scoring drought. They've missed their last 4 field goal attempts. McDaniel ends that. Garzon back in the game. Scalia. Bucket the 3. Awalt. She hit a couple in the first. It'll be out of bounds, and it'll be Indiana ball. And Grace Berger made a mistake, and so she slammed her hand down. She said she didn't actually even slam it that hard. She just hit the right spot at the right time, and so now she's going to have some form of a brace on her hand for the rest of March, likely.
Of course, you see Yarden Garzon get it to go down, but Grace Berger doesn't make very many mistakes.
No, she doesn't.
And so for her to turn the ball over and Warren to have that reaction, it's just humorous, honestly.
Garzon gives Indiana their first lead since it was 2-0, and it goes away in a heartbeat. Holmes with 3 on the shot clock. Here's McDaniel. Already scored 19 points today.
Oh.
What a move.
Stopped on a dime and was able to put the ball behind her back.
She has a fractured hand. She showed it to us. It was green. It's healing, but it was a pretty bad injury there.
You know, we always think about in March the players being beat up and tired, but this is tough on the coaches too. They're beat up and tired as well. I mean, we've got Coach Moore and almost in half her right side of her body is going to be bandaged by the time it's all said and done.
Holmes gives Indiana the lead. She's now got 25 points, having another classic Mackenzie Holmes performance. She and McDaniel been driving the way. McDaniel drives the lane. She's up to 23. Back and forth we go.
Kamaria McDaniel is so quick. She's been able to get by every single defender Indiana's thrown at her.
More McNeil. Top of the key 3. Ohio State, who started the season 19-0, at one point was number 2 in the country, will take on their rival. Spartans can't keep it alive. Meanwhile, another foul.
Nice pass.
Geary, as easy a bucket as she'll have all month of March. Hoosiers up by 4. That's the most they've led all day. Hageman loses the entire defense and drives for 2. Hoosiers have made 3 straight field goals. Offensive foul on Berger. That was her first field goal of the day for Hageman after missing 7 straight shots. Splits the defense again. McDaniel has the baseline and draws a foul. July 15th, the BTN Big 10K returns to Soldier Field in Chicago. McDaniel for the tie. No. Indiana can't get a shot off to end the quarter. That banked-in bucket will not count. In that first matchup, Indiana made a big run in the fourth quarter, but Michigan State held them off, partly by hitting 11 free throws in the final 10 minutes. Keep in mind, too, Grace Berger, Sydney Parrish are wonderful scorers who have had off days offensively. Parrish has 0 points. Berger has 2.
Hoosiers got to get more movement on the offensive side of the ball to force Michigan State to shift and just simply move.
Indiana showed their offense that last quarter. They put 25 points on the board in the third. Scalia, the step back long two. Aralt with the board. Michigan State, one of only 2 teams to beat Indiana this season. The other one being Iowa, the last game that Indiana played. McDaniel loses it. Parrish, her first points of the game.
The first time she's had time to get her feet set, get her legs underneath.
Osmond will take a long two with a foot on the line. Holmes with the rebound. Another open look for Parrish. Another three for Parrish. She has woken up in the fourth quarter, and the Spartans call timeout. They're suddenly down by 7. Hageman flips it out to Joyner. She'll take that three. Tyler Parks. Foul on Mackenzie Holmes. That'll be her 4th. Megan, the story of the first half was Michigan State and their 8 3-pointers. They haven't hit one yet in the second.
Because Indiana has run them off the three-point line and forced them to get to the middle.
Maria McDaniel is putting on a performance. 26 points. McDaniel's 8th 20-point performance on the season. Someone that has transferred from Baylor and Penn State to be here. When you talked to Susie Merchant beginning of the season, she said, you know what? She came home. She should have been a Spartan in the first place. Hageman forces a turnover. And a foul on Grace Berger.
The competition has come out at an all-time high, and it goes to show you just the parity in this league on both sides.
Illinois and Michigan in double OT yesterday for the men. Matilda Eck in and out. Joyner gets slapped by Parrish. That's 4 fouls on Indiana. So the next foul puts the Spartans in the bonus. Just feels like the momentum has shifted towards IU. Tell you what, Michigan State can get this win. So you're going to have to start talking about them with the NCAA Tournament Selection Committee as a bubble team. I mean, this would be 2 of the best wins that any team in the country has. Garzon from deep. Only 3 players in the country have a better 3-point percentage than Garzon. Joyner. Hageman fouled by Moore-McNeil. Remember, with just less than 5.5 minutes to go, the Spartans are in the bonus. Hageman hits the first. The top seed in this Big Ten tournament. Berger, bucket. 4 points, 6 boards, 4 assists for Berger. McDaniel. Offensive foul. Sydney Parrish. What a play. That is a brutal turn. Let's see what happened.
Elbow to the face right there. And yeah, I mean, she gets her. You can't bring the elbow up totally out of the play and generate that contact.
Scalia makes her pay by hitting them both. Has a career-high 10 assists today to go along with her 10 points. Joyner for 2. Indiana has broken that Spartan press all day. It has not been nearly as much of a burden as it was for the Spartan opponent yesterday. Nebraska. Berger with the shot and the foul.
They can make that quick dribble towards the middle, turn around, and she squares her shoulders up in midair at ease. That high release point is so difficult to block.
Yep. Missed free throw, and it's coming the other way. In the paint, the floater, no, but she'll head to the line. Remember, they are the 2nd best team in the Big Ten at getting free throw attempts. Big Ten regular season champions were down by 10 at the end of the first quarter. Have come back strong here in the second half. Scalia!
Michigan State has to get a high hand up on Sara Scalia. If Sara Scalia sees your hands down, she's going to shoot it automatically the moment she touches the ball.
Offensive foul.
But Parks has been physical in the post all day long with Holmes.
9-point lead for Indiana is the largest lead they've had all afternoon. Ayrault thought she had a clean turnover. Instead, it's a foul on her.
Michigan State did a great job defensively in that first half into the second, but Indiana's done a better job spacing the floor.
Mackenzie Holmes just tied a career high for free throws made in a game for 11. Spartans need offense in a hurry. Ayrault provides. And now the biggest enemy is the clock for the Spartans. Need a stop here. Berger drives the lane, a clutch bucket. Almost saved by McDaniel. It's Indiana ball. We're late in the game when they needed it the most.
I've been really impressed with the way Moore-McNeil has defended as well, because Kamari McDaniel was a massive problem for Indiana in this through 3 quarters.
This has been a big difference in the second half on shooting. Threes alone. It's been a tough year for Michigan State. Back in December, they lost Gabby Elliott to a knee injury. She was a Clemson transfer who was playing good ball. 9 points, 5 rebounds a game. They lost their head coach in January. Susie Merchant was in a car accident. Still not back with the team. Of course, we all know what happened with the shooting.
Slowed down the Hoosiers, didn't allow them to do anything on the offensive side of the ball.
McDaniel's tied a season high with 29 points. Timeout, Indiana.
Unselfish basketball is a recipe for success.
There's a foul on Indiana. It will be on Holmes, and she's done. That's her 5th.
What's crazy is Indiana lost Nicole Cardano-Hillary, and Grace Berger was playing off the ball as a 2-guard, 3-guard, and she's had to step up to the point guard position this year, which isn't necessarily out of position because she's used to having the ball in her hands. But it's incredible as Hageman hits the 3 to see what Indiana's been able to do despite losing so much and having Grace Berger shift over to that point guard position.
Hageman's 3. Going to put a little pause on the end of this game. This is still only an 8-point ball game.
Having Holmes on the bench right now is going to be big for Michigan State. Indiana has to value every single possession. Just get the ball in and try to get it over half court.
Berger, Moore-McNeil. She's all alone and chooses not to score. Instead, run that clock some more. Again, this is the first game back for Indiana since losing to Iowa in the regular season finale in that crazy Caitlin Clark game-winning shot. Where, by the way, Chloe Moore-McNeil was defending her, tripped on the shot, and hence gave Clark more of a good look than she wanted. And we talked with Terry Morin about it afterwards, and she said immediately afterwards the most disappointed person was Chloe Moore-McNeil because she expects more of herself.
Well, and she's one of the best defenders. Look, Bloomington's now become a destination for some of the top college basketball players in the country.
Hageman gets fouled and playing great ball at the end of the year. The last 9 games averaging 13 points and 6 assists. She got 15 points today. It's the second one. Her first miss on 12 attempts, but she gets the ball back. McDaniel, a 3. No, but she's fouled.
I mean, McDaniel kicked her leg out. Arizona didn't touch her at all.
This means Mackenzie Holmes has fouled out. Yarden Garzon has fouled out. 2 of the star players on the bench for the last 35 seconds. Up next, it's Michigan and Ohio State. Whoever wins this game will play those 2 after this game comes to a close. Timeout, Indiana.
And it's going to be key for Indiana to try to get it in quickly and get ready for Michigan State to come at them.
No time off the clock when there's a foul. I mean, we should check if Allie Papert has a 12th year of eligibility left.
Yeah, just find it somewhere.
She's on the bench. I mean, let's get her in. Down by 7. The Spartans have 35 seconds left and work to do. McDaniel to the baseline. She missed it. Julia Ayrault picks up the foul. That's her 5th. She and Tyre Parks are both on the bench for good. 85% from the line on the season. And she stretches the lead to 9. take them in. Just have slowly found their rhythm each quarter, getting better and better.
Sometimes that's a lot of time to have to sit and just focus on a scout. You're not sure in the tournament play too until yesterday at 3 o'clock.
I think the clock started early there, by the way. They've just bumped up to a 1 seed in Autumn Johnson's seed projection. That's how good Maryland is. Who's in the discussion for National Player of the Year? Angel Reese was on Maryland last year. She transferred away, and folks, I think, just thought, well, we don't have to think that much about Maryland. And it just got better as the year went on.
Well, they also have Diamond Miller, who's going to be a first-round draft pick in the WNBA. There's a lot to think about.
Joyner will not let this game come to a close.
I love the fight this Michigan State team has shown. Making big plays at the end, but this press is going to have to be what gets them over the top.
In that game they just played against Iowa, she said, remember, even though Chloe feels bad, they gave up 86 points in that game. They've given up 85 in this one.
Well, they've given up 24 points at the foul line as well, and they have 3 different players that have been in foul trouble. So the defense also matters regarding the foul situation.
Eck just had to flip up the 3 with no chance.
Credit the Spartans, what they've been able to do the last 2 days in this tournament. A great defensive effort on both days.
Remember, we talked about what happened in the huddle. He was saying, keep your eyes up, keep your focus. They played great ball against, again, a team that will be favored to go to the Final Four. The top-seeded team survives, and Indiana improves their all-time record. They've now got 27 wins on the year.